It's once again time to go over the best video game trailers of the week. We've got 8 different and very exciting trailers to go over, so let's get right into this. Number 8, Gran Turismo Sport the Cars trailer. Gran Turismo is one of the most iconic franchises in PlayStation history, and now the first game on the PlayStation 4 is almost finally here. Sport is considered a new generation in Gran Turismo. We saw a new trailer going over the cars in the game. Check it out.
According to the maximum horsepower of the individual cars, the group is further divided into smaller divisions, from the driver-friendly N100 class sports cars with up to 100 horsepower to the 1000 horsepower hypercars and monster-tuned cars in the N1000 class. There is a large variety of unique cars represented here. The Group 4 class includes your base-level race cars. This is equivalent to the real-world GT4 class that has picked up in popularity over recent years. The class includes production cars prepped with baseline race modifications, with an interior stripped for weight reduction and a roll cage added for driver protection. The seats are of course replaced with racing bucket seats. Exterior modifications are kept to a minimum, with relatively simple aerodynamic parts. The power is modest, and so are the weight reductions. This is a class that represents entry-level race cars that are easy to drive. For example, the Mustang Group 4, Vantage Group 4, NSX Group 4. The main stars of Gran Turismo Sport are the Group 3 cars, equivalent to the GT3 category in the real world. Group 3 cars still maintain the look of the production cars, but are made wider with large fenders to contain the massive racing slick tyres. In terms of aero modifications, these cars receive the highest level of modifications for cars based on production models. And the complex body parts produce powerful downforce on the track. Weighing in at roughly 1,350 kilograms with 550 to 600 horsepower, all cars are restricted to rear-wheel drive drivetrains. These are truly purebred race cars built to race from the ground up. As one unique feature in Gran Turismo, cars that do not have GT3 versions in the real world appear in Gran Turismo Sport in Group 3 incarnations. Cars like the Mazda 6 Group 3, the Jaguar F-Type Group 3, and cars with futuristic forms such as the Toyota FT1 Vision Gran Turismo Group 3 and the Peugeot Vision Gran Turismo Group 3 all appear in this category. The top category of cars in Gran Turismo is the Group 1 class. These are cars which are typically called prototypes in the real world of racing. With a body that achieves low air resistance and high downforce, the cars weigh in at around 900 kilograms and produce over 1,000 horsepower. These machines exhibit an incredible level of speed, both on the straights and in the corners. Not only that, as true endurance races, they are made easy to drive to allow long hours of driving without stress. Cars that competed in the famed Le Mans 24-hour race, including the Audi R18, the Toyota TS030, and Peugeot 908, as well as concept car-based models such as the Mazda LM55 Vision Gran Turismo.
Number 7, Dual Universe Pre-Alpha Teaser. Dual Universe is a very ambitious first-person space sandbox multiplayer game. It's got elements of EVE Online, Star Citizen, Minecraft, and No Man's Sky. It's a very promising game. Hopefully it turns out well. For now, check out the pre-alpha teaser. Number 6, Warframe Plains of Eidolon trailer. Warframe has been one of the most popular free-to-play games in recent memory. It's got so much to do and you can sink so much time into it. It does start out a bit grindy, but as you get more and more into it, it just becomes more and more of an addicting experience. Warframe Plains of Eidolon promises to add a lot more content. Check out the trailer. Number 5, Middle-earth Shadow of War new gameplay demo. Middle-earth Shadow of War is the follow-up to 2014's critically acclaimed Shadow of Mordor, and so far from what we've seen, it looks like a gigantic leap forward from its predecessor in every area, visually, gameplay-wise, storytelling, and some of the early reviews have come in and they've been very strong. Unfortunately, there has been quite a bit of controversy surrounding the title because of microtransactions and DLC, but nonetheless, here is the brand new gameplay demo.
Awesome mythos.
I know, it's so great.
And we have the Bright Lord here. Ryan, tell us a little bit about who the Bright Lord is.
Oh, great. Thanks, Sid. Why don't you just toss me all the lore-related questions?
Well, you're a little hobbit. You love all this stuff.
I'm the hobbit?
You're a hobbit.
Because
you're
I'm shorter than you?
Perhaps.
Celebrimbor is, or the Bright Lord is sort of the wraith and the spirit of a very iconic and ancient
elven
individual.
King, right?
Yeah, and I believe forger of the Great Rings, which I'm looking to our guides for confirmation. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
This is awesome.
I'm explaining lore.
Enough with your lore.
Yeah, like, shut up, Ryan, about this action. Oh god, we're poisoned. So Talion obviously has a lot more, various weapons, various tools, and at his disposal.
That's what gives you the bow and arrow ability there, yeah.
Including the giant hulking beasts that we can ride. Oh my gosh.
This is so cool.
Hello!
Befriend him.
Now, Sid, if you had to walk around with that giant crossbow on your back, I'd say that'd slow you down quite a bit, right?
A little bit, but I'd be shooting giant gnarly gobs
of poison goo.
That's right. The beast game in this title is extremely strong. I've seen just a huge number of creatures. I mean, these are trolls, obviously. I saw wargs. I've seen drakes are flitting about from time to time. And there's just all manner of orcs and ghoulish creatures, so that got my attention right away. And the gore factor is like off the charts.
It's not for the faint of heart.
That's
and
right.
I will say that you just got a small sample right there of some of the very fantastic free-flowing combat that players got used to in the original game, and obviously that's been dialed up here for Shadow of War, and just raining death and poison down upon the opposition here. But that's actually one of the things that I liked most about. I often try and play stealth in these types of games, and then I fail miserably and do terribly, and then I always wind up in a sticky situation. But the combat is so fun, and you just feel so cool while you're doing it. Oh, this is some of that gore that we were just. Oh my gosh! Enough already! Enough! That was a snafu, am I right, Sid?
Oh my! Look at that.
Nah. Okay.
The I mean, you're right, though, Ryan.
We'll play it back in the tape.
Oh, nice. One of the things that makes this game so fun is it's got that kind of, like, stealth combat, that you can, that I enjoy in games like, the Batman Arkham series, maybe Assassin's Creed. But it kind of brings its own flavor, thanks to Monolith. And then you got all the combos and the cool bow and arrow combat. Oh, man.
Nice jump. Oh, and he's back.
It didn't quite make it. Well, you can't blame him. But it's kind of got a little something for everybody,
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the breadth and depth of the stuff that I love that, by the way, breadth and depth. The stuff that you can do in Shadow of War is just, I mean, it's basically, I don't want to put a number on it, but there's a lot more than the original.
It's kind of in some ways at the heart of my fantasies about video games when I was a kid. Like, I wish there was a game where like everything you did mattered.
Yeah.
And you'd kill people and they knew what you know that you had, and they weren't just sort of robots, you know, and that is Shadow of War.
As a kid, you were saying, I wish there was a game where you could kill people. At the age of 3.5, Sid had very grisly dreams.
I wish I could chop off a troll's head.
You know, I just really want to take it to a bunch of orcs.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, Ryan, explain to me the difference between orcs and urukai, because...
oh, dear.
And goblins. How do they factor in, too?
Yeah, I don't know about goblins.
I think goblins and orcs are the same thing. I'm virtually certain.
I don't know about that, because I don't know if that's different in Tolkien's universe.
I was speaking broadly to the mythos of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, here it is! One of the best parts of the game!
Number 4, Star Wars Battlefront II Strike Mode Gameplay Trailer. Star Wars Battlefront 2's release is quickly approaching. The beta has just begun, so check that out if you're interested. And we saw a new trailer showing off the game's Strike Mode, which features more tight-knit gameplay where the specific classes shine. Check it out.
In the open beta, we have our new game mode, Strike, which is kind of one of our smaller game modes. And in this one, you are attempting to take an artifact out of Maz's castle and extract it. Hopefully, in this game mode, people will be able to get a lot more of that close-knit gameplay without any heroes getting in the way. It's a bit more about troopers and the reinforcements that we have available. So it's a bit more infantry-based. There's no vehicles, so it's trying to have some really tight-knit gameplay, allowing classes to shine. In Strike, we have it's an 8v8 game mode, so 16 players will be running around. You see here some of the resistance troopers that we have, the 4 various classes. There's the assault class, the heavy class, the officer, and the specialist, and some of their star cards. Star cards are a way for you to increase the level of customization for your character. So if you want to play as the assault class and you really want to focus on having a great grenade, you know, this allows you to upgrade your grenade over time so it does more damage, or maybe it has a larger explosion radius. You're trying to collect cards to give yourself more gameplay tools in your toolbox for each of your various classes. And the beta is just a sliver of what we have available, but we want to give players a taste of what they'll experience when the game launches, but without giving them showing all of our available options. But this is really about letting you have a small taste. We want players to work together as a team. As you spawn in, we want to make sure that people are trying to pick the right classes that complement each other. That way you can get in there, try to work with, say, the officer, which is one of my favorite classes. Do they want to sit there and buff the team, try to get into that point, grab the artifact, and get out of there? So yeah, ideally, and especially a lot of the close quarters areas, once you get inside the castle, is where you're going to rely a lot on your teammates to make that stuff happen. This map is, again, very iconic based on the latest movie, and I think that players will be pleasantly surprised about how particular and how very attention to detail focused we are in bringing that area to life. In this scenario, we're not trying to recreate anything from the movie, so we're not having them steal like Rey's, the lightsaber that Rey finds, for example. We want to keep it a bit more, not encroaching on the story of the movies, because then we run into situations where, well, are we trying to retell the story of the movie? Are we not? This is more about having an authentic, believable world, and then allowing people to play around in that area without being, tying ourselves too closely to the story.
Number 3, Assassin's Creed Origins Birth of the Brotherhood trailer. Assassin's Creed Origins is the latest in the decade-long franchise. The story of the game, as the title would suggest, is an origin story. It goes over how the Assassin Brotherhood came to be, and we saw a trailer this week showing off a little bit of what we can expect from the storytelling of the game. Check it out.
I am a Magi, protector of Egypt. My land is on the brink of collapse. To defend it, I must become an instrument of justice and freedom.
You are my Magi now, protector of the true Pharaoh of Egypt.
Gods have abandoned us.
Be careful. Not everything is as it seems. Back! Your people are in danger.
There is a new creed now. From darkness we have come, and in darkness we shall stay. We are Magi no longer. We shall be known as assassins.
Number 2, Extinction new gameplay trailer. Extinction is one of those games that really came out of nowhere. It has you fighting against gigantic colossal beasts. It's very reminiscent of something like Shadow of the Colossus with a far more vibrant art style, but the gameplay seems to be very similar in that you have to find your way onto a boss's weak point and take them down from there. We finally saw more gameplay, check it out.
We were told that one day, the Ravenni would return, that oceans of blood would be spilled, and humanity would become a forgotten relic. Others claimed false prophecy, but I felt it in my bones. Beyond the mountains, beyond the trees, beyond the light, they grew stronger in the shadows. And there will be a reckoning. The age of heroes is at its end.
And finally, number 1, Assassin's Creed Origins new stealth gameplay. We had to mention Assassin's Creed Origins twice, as we also saw some more gameplay of the title. As the game's release gets closer and closer, expect to see more and more of Ubisoft's latest. Gameplay-wise, Origins is a revamp for the franchise featuring more RPG mechanics, but for now, have a look at the new stealth-based gameplay.
In the vast open world of Assassin's Creed Origins, the new combat system creates a lot of new ways to deal with your enemies. Making a ruckus can be very effective, but stealth has always been a favorite tool of the assassins. So we talked to the developers about how you can take a sneakier approach to getting what you want.
Stealth is part of the lifeblood of this series. What are some of the ways that players can really lean into that stealthy play style in Origins?
So with the abilities, you can really start extending what you can do in stealth. Sometimes you might see a group of 4 guards. Having the ability to forward time. This will actually, those guards will get up and they'll do their daily business. At some point, maybe they'll go to sleep. The point is, this is an ability that allows you to change the setup. The stealth system itself is very different than previous ACs. Now it's really distance-based. That's an important thing because we wanted the player to be able to cat and mouse with the AI. So you don't get detected right away. They might see you, they might see a threat, but they might not recognize the true threat that it is. So they need to come closer, they need to investigate. This allows you to start splitting groups up. Combined with sleep darts, with poison, you can really manipulate the environment.
From the level design, already you can really sneak into a lot of locations, you can sneak into forts, into camps that you are really, under level. If you're detected, you'll be dead, but nothing is preventing you from trying it and using the level design.
We've worked very hard on the level design to make sure that there's constant opportunities to be able to stay in a stalking zone, to go up high. Being a predator in AC, that means you go up high. Or you can actually gain other abilities, so like sleep knives, poison, taming animals.
What happens once you tame an animal? Does it just kind of like come alongside with you and like bite anyone's face off?
Exactly.
Who messes with you?
Exactly. First you need to be able to tame them, right? To tame it. So it's not just out of nowhere, you're able to tame animals. You first need to put them asleep so that you can approach them without any risk, and then tame them.
If you consider the bow as part of your stealth equipment, that's another way. You can upgrade the damage of the bows, you can upgrade what they can do themselves.
One of the skills that I was really enjoying during my playtime is the Predator bow. Steering that arrow just gives it that extra little oomph, doesn't it?
Yes, when you manage to master the bow, the arrow, it's awesome. The feeling of actually continuing to chase your target using your arrow is an awesome feeling. But it's quite hard, so some might not like it, which is fine because we have many other opportunities.
I think one of my favorite ways to play stealthy is to create those distractions. You know, you set a fire over here, everyone gets a little alarmed and like, oh, I'm just gonna go accomplish my objective over here.
Oh, and I would even say a lot of people don't realize it, but you have a torch that you can take out. So you can toss it to create a distraction. So that's another tool, stealth tool that you have.
I was also excited to see that there's a skill that allows Senu to sort of get into combat a little bit with you.
Yes, absolutely. This is something that we thought that was really cool actually, and makes sense. So when you're, approaching a camp and you want to distract some, to sneak on the other side, well, just use Senu on one guard. She will take care of it.
I would love that players who want to play stealth get to explore the system and find, really cool moments that we didn't think of ourselves. And I think there are many of those.
It's coming out soon. Give us the date.
So that wraps up the top 8 new game trailers of the week. What do you think? Which trailers excited you the most this week? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching and goodbye.